you should be building a company that's worth funding. I mean, you can be completely happy with a company that's,
Profitable.
that profitable, sustainable, and all that. But if you want to sort of build a more scalable business, what does it mean to why would an investor invest?
Lou, thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Yeah.
Third time?
Third time?
Third time's a charm.
Yay, I know.
So the last time we had you on, right, we chatted a bit about the issues of females getting funding in the UK. Actually, probably it's a worldwide problem, not just.
Yeah, it is.
But we chatted about the UK, and some of the statistics you said were quite shocking about the little amount of funding that whole female teams. I think you said last time.
Only 1% of venture capital.
1%. I forgot the figure, but that's crazy. So you, obviously Blooming Founders, really big community, really good community that's been going quite a while. But you're taking a different angle now of honing in on the issue of funding. Instead of saying we're a community and we help female founders do everything as best we can. Now you're saying, right, let's focus on the big issue, which is funding.
Yeah.
When did you make that decision to focus on that?
I think it was just a couple of months ago, I think, because it was, I mean, there's a whole journey, right? So I started Blooming Founders 4 years ago now. It's been running events for female entrepreneurs, bringing people together, and we've built this really big, thriving community, over 3,500 people. It was in a Facebook group, and I think there were several reasons why I kind of decided to do that focus, that's sort of niching down now. One is the market has evolved, so the world has changed, right? In the last 2 years with, the Me Too movement and Nasty Woman and Time's Up and all of these, things where the world has, it became woke to the fact that there's a lot of inequalities in the workplace and media and all of that. But as a result, there's actually a lot of other female-focused initiatives popping up, right? So I actually don't see the need to do a lot more, to support female entrepreneurs in general, because there's other people doing that.
You've already paved the way.
I paved the way. I have done that, and now the other people are following, which is fantastic. It's great to see sort of that energy. But I'm kind of like, well, what is my value add, right? And I think over the time I've built all of this knowledge, from on the VC side, and I think, I have a really good understanding about the problems, right? So then I kind of I'm focusing now on the funding problem to be able to deliver really, extremely good value add to the community.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? Obviously you can help female founders with their marketing and their business plans and you can help with a load of different things. But the main issue is that 1%, right? It's such a low figure.
Yeah. And even different startups have different issues, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of people, not just women, but general, entrepreneurs in general, who would never look at fundraising because that's not the business they're building.
Yeah, they don't want to.
They don't want to, exactly. Yeah. But now there's a lot of other resources that that help those type of entrepreneurs. But there's really very, very little to help entrepreneurs that are looking to fundraise.
Yeah. How are you going to do it? Right?
Well,
I know that's like the $1 billion question.
That's the $1 billion question.
We chatted last time, and if I remember correctly from the last interview, a lot of it was, it's purely, not purely, but a lot of it is FaceTime. Female founders just don't get enough time face to face with VCs to be able to even get their ideas across the table. Is that a big part of what you're doing?
It's one side of what I'm doing. I think the problem or the solution is two-sided. On the one hand side, I think definitely female founders don't have enough exposure to the VC or investor community because typically they have zero networks.
Yeah. Nobody
knows any angel investor or VC. Like everything is kind of like quite new to, I suppose, like the average, female entrepreneur. So basically providing that access is really important, and we do that at the moment in our co-working space through monthly pitch events. So we had one yesterday with Speed Invest. We had 5 startups that are building marketplaces, to kind of pitch and get feedback. And the investors, was really interested in a couple of them. So she, was happy to follow up and just have a bit more of a deeper discussion with the startup, which is really helpful, right?
Yeah, of course.
In that early stage, you actually want to have that feedback first before you actually talk about investment, right? Yeah. But that's one side. And the other side is actually the lack of knowledge.
Right.
I think a lot of...
On which side? VC side or the founder side?
No, the founder side. So on the VC side, I think the sort of lack of access to the female founders, they never see, that many female entrepreneurs. And some of them might not make an effort to even, go into the ecosystem and search more diverse entrepreneurs, right?
Okay.
They just sit there.
They get their inbound.
They get them a lot of inbound portfolio companies, other investors. As I said, they just sit there. Everything comes inbound. They look at deals, and then they would co-invest or, all that kind of thing, right? So I guess getting more investors to connect and see and look at female entrepreneurs is one problem. I'm looking to solve, and the other side is on the founder side, to educate founders on what it means to build a company that's worth funding. Because not every company is worth funding. It doesn't mean that you should be building a company that's worth funding. I mean, you can be completely happy with a company that's
profitable,
that's profitable, sustainable, and all that. But if you want to sort of build a more scalable business, what does it mean to why would an investor invest? I see from a lot of founders in the community that kind of think that investors just have unlimited amounts of money because, they just invest so much all the time. So there must be like money somehow, but it doesn't really, it's not the case, right? I mean, investment firms are also a business and they have their economics to fulfill and their investors that gave them the money to manage to invest into startups, right? So there's a lot of knowledge that's not available to founders, and I think it would be better for founders to understand how the other side is thinking, so then they can prepare themselves better, right?
Yeah. So is it not your job specifically, but is it the job of Blue Big Founders to say to these female entrepreneurs, that's not a viable venture-backed business? Here are other options. Or do you try and shift them towards a model that is venture-backed so they get the funding? What are your thoughts on when female founders do come and they're excited and they want money to scale their business, but maybe it's not a business that will turn over 5, 10, 15 million a year when VCs may not be interested? What's your angle on that?
I think it's more, the first step is education, just to kind of educate people about what the expectations are on the VC side. And then I guess maybe just, once I've rebuilt this community, having a conversation on, is it really what you want as a founder, right? Because, I mean, there's different ways of funding as well, right? I mean, there's VC, which is very high growth, very sort of, rocket ship style. But there's also angel, which is, a bit more patient, a bit more sort of, growing, but not like crazy, right? There's crowdfunding, there's multiple, things these days. And it's kind of like helping to find that almost like founder investment fit as well.
Right. Which if you're not familiar with it, right, it's completely alien to you. Whether do I go? I was speaking to a lady the other day, and she was like, "I want like a really cool business. Want to scale it," and she was like, "I want to do CrowdCube." I was like, "Right, okay, CrowdCube, brilliant." And then she didn't. She was like, "Oh no, I thought CrowdCube was they get my product," and because she's a really cool business, but never had to raise money. So she didn't know even the like CrowdCube, Kickstarter, the difference. So without knowing that, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly. And you don't know that running a crowdfunding event is a lot of work. Like
people underestimate that all the time.
And you have to stop your business and just run that and then continue. So people think that I can just run a crowdfunding campaign and then money comes out of the crowd.
Where you need like 40 or 50% beforehand, and there's a lot of things.
It never happens like that.
No. Nothing's ever that easy. So what's the next big thing? You've a conference coming up?
Yes. So
what date's the conference?
22nd of July. So in about 3.5 weeks. Girls just want to have funds. Last time actually I was on the show, I was talking about the first Girls Just Want to Have Funds event we did in March.
That was in your space?
That was in our partner location at Cocoon, and then that was a big success. So then we said, oh my God, there's so much interest in, meeting investors in a small sort of intimate setting, not in a pitch situation, but just talking,
just a networking sort of thing,
conversational, just, so we turned it into like a whole day conference. We're doubling the amount of investor roundtables, and we have a whole afternoon of panels, talking about all sorts of investment types, also about building an advisory board, what to do with the investment after you've raised it, because that's the next question. How do you grow your team, and how do you sort of, create your sales pipeline and I guess professionalize, what you've been like scraping around with.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a full day and very exciting, and
That's really cool. Well, look, we'll put the link below. If there is, when this video goes out, if there is still tickets available.
Yeah,
they'll be
exactly.
able to see them there. And if not, they can catch the next one, I assume.
They can join the waiting list,
Yes.
and we'll be doing more activities later this year.
Good stuff. Well, third time's a charm. Thank you so much, Lou. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks
Cheers.
for